Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Kim Mabon, and I am the board chair for the Corona Chamber of Commerce and owner of Creative by Design. We're excited you're here to join us today, and I'd like to share a few announcements before I turn it over to Jeff, who will be discussing some new laws and regulations. Today's event is sponsored by Corona Regional Medical Center. Corona Regional Medical Center is a 259-bed community hospital network. It is comprised of 168 acute care beds and a 99-bed rehabilitation campus. It is certified by the Joint Commission and employs more than 1,200 trained healthcare workers. It has a medical staff of approximately 347 physicians representing more than 40 specialties. Corona Regional Medical Center has a staff that works around the clock and cares for so many individuals. Thank you, CRMC, for sponsoring this meeting. A reminder, please use the chat button to ask any questions. Send your questions to the chamber host and we will verbally ask them at the appropriate time. Labor law posters will be available at the beginning of the year. All members will receive one free poster via mail as soon as we get them in. Additional posters in both English and Spanish will be available to purchase via the chamber's website or by calling the office. Save the date for our 111th installation and awards gala coming up on January 20th, 2022. We will be installing our new board of directors and present some awards to some incredible businesses and individuals. If you reserve your seat now, you can get it for just $111 when you pay by December 31st. And don't forget your opportunity tickets for a chance to win one of 12 gifts valued at $500 or more each. Some of the prizes include a Fender guitar, a 70-inch 4K smart TV, and dinner for two for a year from Sizzler. Learn more at the bit.ly shown on the screen. We are excited to announce that our Golf Classic will be returning on May 26, 2022. This will be held at the amazing Eagle Glen Golf Club. We will also be holding our Twilight Celebration banquet following the tournament. Early bird sponsorship pricing ends on December 31st, so make sure you reserve your spot now. Learn more by going to the link provided. If you are a guest and not currently a member of the Corona Chamber, we welcome you to join our chamber family. Meetings like these are just one of the many benefits to being part of an active, thriving organization like the Corona Chamber. Please outreach to our Membership Development Coordinator, Robert Yanez, and he can review the many incentives for both joining and referring businesses to join. Or if you're already part of the chamber family and you want to learn about the many ways the chamber can help you market your business, please contact our marketing and sponsorship specialist, Tammy Harwick. I would like to introduce our first speaker of the morning, Jeff Miller. Jeff is a former state assembly member and former City of Corona mayor and council member. He is also our Legislative Action Committee chair. He will be giving us an important update on EDD fraudulent claims. Jeff, take it away.
Thank you, Kim. Merry Christmas, everybody. We're going to take today's meeting in a little different direction than we've done in the past. It's come to our attention that some of our family members in the Corona Chamber have been impacted by identity theft and more specifically disability claim fraud. And is Bobby on the call? I don't see him.
Bobby is not on the call at the moment.
He's coming.
He is on his way though.
Okay, because I was going to turn it over to Bobby to share the personal story that has affected, like I said, our family members here in the chamber, and after that, I'm gonna allow Alti Holcomb from Senator Richard Roth's office to just give us a quick update on what he's been doing to help folks that have been impacted by disability fraud, and some contact information that would be available for everybody to use to contact Senator Roth's office or the government agency any government agency. And then I'm going to then Jeff Gibson's going to come back on and give a quick update on it also. So with that, Bobby, I'll turn it over to you. You got the reins. Take it.
Thank you so much. So one of the things that we wanted to do was just bring an awareness to the business community. There's a lot of fraud going on, and the government agencies are overwhelmed with different things. There was a directive prior that just send money out. We know how that went. You know that all of the challenges with inmates getting checks and whatnot. But lo and behold, here at the chamber, I got a notification, two different notifications. One was that I had filed for disability, as well as somebody that doesn't even work here was filed. And so at home, what happened was I received letters stating that I had filed and that there would be checks coming in. The very next day, there was a notice that my address was changed. So I want to just publicly caution everyone, make sure that you talk to whoever opens your mail at your offices to get those EDD files immediately to you. And then also to say thank you to Alti Holcomb. He just posted in the chat room his contact information. They have been wonderful about helping, but there are limitations on what can be done. It is frustrating for me that more checks under my name will be issued to someone that changed my address that those checks are going to. It's just part of the system, but we're going to try and improve that system. And so this is our first step, was just notifying you of this. And then secondly, Alti is working with us to have it kind of erased, that it will not show that myself or in fact, my wife's was also compromised. She was the first one. So I don't know if they're going off of popular high profile names, but if they do it to us, they could do it to you. And I just caution all of you to kind of look at your mail. That's all that I have, Jeff, at this point. If Alti wants to jump in, that would be great. If not, he has put into the chat his information, and we just encourage all of you to connect with the senator's office. Alti has been really good to help. Back to you, Jeff.
Yeah, no, that's great, Bobby. I'd like to have Alti make a few comments. Obviously, this is a new form of, or not even a new form. It's probably a more apparent form of organized crime. They're really organized, and this year has happened at an all-time high. So Alti, if you don't mind, thank you for jumping on the call, and can you just take the reins and let us know what you've been doing and you run
yeah. Thank you, Jeff, and thank you, Bobby. And Bobby, you know, for you and your members, it's been my pleasure to be of service to this chamber. You guys have a wonderful chamber of commerce. And Bobby, I told you and maybe a handful of others, but starting in January, I'm going to be transitioning to another area within our office operations here. So my wonderful new colleague, Kim Cerrone, she'll be taking over representing Senator Roth in Corona, Eastvale, and Norco. Awesome. But that aside, and I'll make introductions as necessary, but that aside, yes, I have been working with you and Karen, and thank you for putting up the ways in which fraudulent activity can be addressed in as much as we can affect things at EDD. It's been a tough road, and it's very unfortunate that they have not been able to crack the nut completely. We all know that about the fraudulent activity. Billions of dollars have gone out, unfortunately, to those who did not deserve it or earn it, who have paid into the program. However, thank you for putting up the ways in which constituents and your business members and individuals can notify EDD of fraudulent activity. And secondarily, and the reason why I put up my information in the chat box is they can contact me as well. So they can contact me if they suspect fraudulent activity on their own account or someone else, on behalf of someone else, and I will take it from there. We have a process in here in which we can help constituents, and by that I mean business owners as well, get through this. So I don't know if anyone has any questions, and I will let people know that we are, and you, Bobby, you and Jeff and others know we ourselves are not EDD. So please keep that in mind. So if you have questions about the technical aspects and inner workings of EDD, let us know, and we'll pass on the question to to folks who we deal with. We don't necessarily deal with folks that the public deals with. So yeah, that's all I have on that aspect. I don't know if anyone has any questions.
Thank you, Alti. Anthony, are any questions in the system or at this point?
There are no questions at this point, no.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, Alti, please, thank you very much for coming on today. And please thank Senator Roth for his support of our chamber and our members. We really appreciate that.
Okay. Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah. And I'll turn it back over to Kim to introduce Jeff.
All right. Thank you, Jeff and Alti and Bobby, for sharing all that information. It's now, I would like to introduce our legislative advocate, Jeff Gibson. He keeps us up to date with all the movement happening locally, regionally, statewide, and federally. With Jeff's thorough analysis, he helps us act timely on projects and initiatives that help make a difference in shaping our community. As owner of Occidental Communications Group, his knowledge of complex political issues and the great relationships he has built ensure the Corona Chamber has all the tools to be effective on behalf of the business community. Please help me welcome Jeff Gibson to share a legislative update.
Thank you, Kim. I appreciate that. I wanted to, while Alti's still on the call, put a fine point on the departments that are responsible for disability aid, and all of the aid are technically in the administration, so they're in a different branch of the government altogether. And while they're very responsive to legislative offices, and Senator Roth has really been a very good partner to the chamber and to our members, he's exactly right. They don't speak for the disability for the agencies that distribute disability assistance. That's handled exclusively by the governor. After the legislature decides how much will be spent, it's administrated over there. So that's why we do things like focus on regulations, because those are obviously something that has a great impact in this area. Overall, and based upon Bobby's experience, we decided to, as Jeff laid out, change things around a little bit today and get into kind of the effect of what's been going on here. The Secret Service this morning announced that there's over $100 billion in fraud in the unemployment system, specifically of COVID associated aid. They've set up a specific Secret Service task force. Secret Service, as you may know, has two jobs. One is guarding the president and members of the administration, Treasury Secretary. Most of the cabinet secretaries are guarded by Secret Service. The second thing that they do is they actually investigate and follow up on Department of Treasury related crime. So in this case, it would not be the FBI, it would be the Secret Service. So there's about $100 billion in fraud that has happened just since January of last year. Of that, over 30 billion is specifically from California. To give you an idea, in 1990, which was not that long ago for many of us, 30 billion was the exact size of the entire government in the state of California. And that's in just 1 year. So in the year previous, so in 2020, we lost $30 billion in COVID related fraud. And those were largely state, but in some cases, federal dollars as well. The Biden administration, as you may remember, hired Julie Yu, who was in charge of the California disability claims system, to run the national system. And 10 months into the job there, announces that for the first time ever, $100 billion in federal aid in a single disability related system was lost to fraud. So obviously something that we were not excited about when the appointment was announced, and obviously something that has continued to expand. So obviously we're bringing that to your attention for a reason. because we definitely think that the president and the country would be better served with a different administrator. But let's dig into the numbers really quickly. So there's $4 trillion in aid that would fall into, that have been granted by Congress, by the state legislatures, that would really fall into the category of emergency assistance that goes to businesses, that goes to disability claims, that goes to unemployment insurance claims related to the COVID emergency. So out of $4 trillion, which we can all admit is quite a lot of money, there were about $7 trillion that has been pumped into the economy. The other three went for infrastructure, went to keep state government and local governments lights on. And we're not worried about fraud in those areas right now for this purpose. But so out of that 4 trillion, about $100 billion was lost. So the 100 billion is going to be the focus of the Secret Service. In their investigation to date, the Department of Justice has been able to identify culprits in for about 1.2 billion of that fraud. So about 1% or about 1.2% of the fraud they've been able to identify over the last 10 months. So this shows you why this is so incredibly pervasive. Just as Bobby has found, just as the Senator's office has found, oftentimes after you've identified the fraud, the fraudulent account continues to receive disbursements. Even when you are presenting your identity and presenting your address and doing all of those things. So that's one of the frustrating things that has to change. It has existed through both parties, so we're not pointing any fingers one way or another. It just needs to change. So moving on to the next slide to kind of give you the impact of this and California's role in it. That $30 billion that was lost by the state of California was just between March of last year, when the pandemic became a problem, in January of this year, when the state legislature started to put its arms around precisely what the problems were and identify problems within the system. Obviously, that's an ongoing thing. Bobby just received his problem in the last couple of weeks. But the legislature is trying to work with the administration to identify ways in which they can combat this issue. So, but as you can see from the chart, over to the right, you've got a gold bar that goes almost all the way across the chart. In the middle, you have a orange bar, which represents California. That is about 1/3 to give everybody we represent about 13% of the population of the United States, and we represent about 1/3 of the fraud within the system. So obviously California is a major target of it. And this has been an ongoing problem going back 30 years, at least, closer to 40 years, that we have represented well more of welfare fraud, disability fraud, unemployment fraud on a national scale than you would predict based upon our population and the size of our labor market. So this is a problem that has been going on for decades. I know personally because two of the members of my immediate family are in investigating welfare fraud. That's where they built their careers. So it's been going on for quite some time. And with that, I'd be happy to take any questions you might have.
Thank you, Jeff. We currently have no questions.
All right. Well, with that, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and we will see you in January.
Okay. Thank you, Jeff. And as always, you can reach out to your local representatives, Assembly Member Sabrina Cervantes and Senator Richard Roth, both of whose contact information is provided on your screen. Before we end today's program, let me share with you about those who are on the call today, besides those who were already introduced. We have Kimberly Davidson from the City of Wildomar, Dr. Tim Gramling, Jobs School of Business at Cal Baptist University, and Annette DeMont from Riverside County Office of Education. Thank you everyone for joining us today. We'd once again like to thank today's sponsor, Corona Regional Medical Center. CRMC serves the community of Corona, Norco, and Eastville and is committed to quality. They are dedicated to health and safety of everyone they serve and do so with compassion and integrity. Learn more at coronaregional.com. If you would like to sponsor a future business briefing, please contact the Chamber. We will not be hosting a business briefing next week, but we'll be back on January 5th, bringing you more critical legislative updates. Until then, we want to wish everyone a happy and safe holiday. Thank you everyone for attending. Our meeting is adjourned.
Thank you all. Merry Christmas to you all.